8 laps is the distance. Top 5 make the redraw out of this heat race. So if you want a chance to start on the front row at this season opener, got to finish this race in the top 5. We come to the green. Zach Olivier setting the pace. Olivier will lead him off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Talked about his championship in this division back in 2015. After that, with this track closing, other tracks around the area, uncertain about this class, he built himself one of those IMCA and USRA stock cars and went around the region. Was very competitive in that. By the way, he was also a champion here in 2013 in the hobby stocks and as well at Houston's that same year. If you're tuning in on this Facebook feed and wondering, well, where is I-90 Speedway? We're outside of Hartford, South Dakota, which is outside of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. If you've heard of Houston Speedway, that's on the other side of Sioux Falls over there in Brandon. So Zach Olivier in the 71-year leader, J.J. Zabel in that second spot. Dan Jensen, I thought he was retired. He's running third and looking very strong in front of the defending track champion in the 83X, Briley Goff, and the final redraw spot belongs to Tim Dan in the 40. You see the 71, Zach Olivier go by the stripe at the halfway point. 4 laps down, 4 laps remaining on this one. The lead for Olivier is up to 1.4 seconds over second place running J.J. Zabel. You take a look now at the 83X of Briley Goff. He got the win here last season at the season opener. It was his first career win in this late model street stock division, and he went on to pick up the championship in this class. Dan Jensen in that 98, he was a champion here back in 1998 and 1999. He runs in third as the signal from the flag stand, 2 laps to go. Ron Howell's going to tap out of this heat race. Looks like blew the right rear tire in the 21, so he's on the return road off of the outside of the track. We stay green with Zach Olivier out front in the 71. J.J. Zabel closing in on him, however. White flag is out. Zabel right there. Remember, this is a redraw race, so they don't have to do anything too crazy. But if you're in a race car and you're on a racetrack, you want to win, right? So here we go. Final set of turns. Zabel goes to the very bottom. Olivier's got company off of the final turn, and it will be Zach Olivier picking up the win in the 71. Good race there in heat race number 1 of the TNR Contracting late model street stocks. The victory goes to the 71 of Zach Olivier by 0.2 of a second. J.J. Zabel second, Dan Jensen third, Briley Goff was 4th, Tim Dan finished in 5th, Derek Nordstrom 6th, and the 21 of Ron Howe credited with 7th. For Corey Yai in that 64 machine, with him pulling in, he will start very deep in tonight's A-featured lineup for these TNR Contracting late model street stocks. 55, John Hoying sets the pace. 5X, Kevin Kremen to his outside. 51, Billy Prouty. 45, Craig Hanisch. And 99, Ryan DeBoer is your starting order. 8 laps your distance, final heat race of the TNR Contracting late model street stocks. IMCA sprint cars, headliners tonight. They're coming up next here at I-90 Speedway. Oh, we've got trouble at turn 1. Prouty gets into Hoying. Hoying slides down the racetrack. Hanisch sneaks by. And we've got all sorts of trouble in turn number 2, and the caution's going to come out. Well, you see a whole lot of damage to the Corcares Hoying Farms Todd and Angus 55 of John Hoying as he was trying to drive away, and right now, with no left rear tire, just a really bent up wheel. That doesn't feel good, driving to the pit area. And just for insult to injury, he's going to throw some sheet metal off of that car, too. There is an official up here to my right who has a radio and can talk to every single driver on the track. It's a safety measure, and they can tell them when the caution's coming out, if the red's coming out. It helps them get lined up during a caution in the proper order. And, well, if one's not working, it's not good for anybody. So they wanted to check that. It's good. We're ready for the green. Kremen, Hanisch, and DeBoer. We get a close-up look here of the 45 of Craig Hanish. Again, 50 times in his career he has won here at I-90 Speedway. 30 times in this late model street stock division. $15 times in the sportsman stock cars, which is kind of what we used to have around this area, very similar to IMCA and USRA stock cars. We called them sportsmen back before kind of USRA and IMCA came into our area with that breed of racing. Also won in 4 times in a B-Mod and once in a Wasota Superstock. Tally up those 50 wins for the 45. By the way, speaking of IMCA and USRA stock cars, that's what Kevin Kremen's running out there in the 5X. The rule package here at I-90 Speedway allows for them. They're a bit heavier, but a rules package allowing that division to run and be competitive with these TNR Contracting late model street stocks. White flag coming out. Craig Hanish well on his way to winning this one. In the final stock car heat, we've got sprint cars on deck, 4 heats deep for the Cressman Sanitation IMCA sprint cars. Again, if you're watching right now on a Facebook Live, go on over AdvantageRacing.tv. That's what you need to put in your browser there, and go get the pay-per-view for the rest of the night. I promise it's going to be a big one here in Hartford, South Dakota. So that wraps up stock car qualifying. We're heading to the sprint cars. We're going back to Advantage Racing TV only. Thanks for tuning in with us on Facebook. We hope to see you over there on AdvantageRacing.tv. Craig Hanish is going to get the win in the 45. Kevin Kremen second. Ryan DeBoer third in the 99 for heat race number 2 of the TNR Contracting late model street stocks.
Barely gets her feet on the ground. Those times when she's high, she's always got her mind in the sky.
Caution lights going dark around I-90 Speedway, and we get set for the green in turn number 4. Ryan DeBoer has elected to start at the tail in the 99, so how about it for Dan Jensen? His return to racing, and he's on the pole. Zach Olivier next to him, 18 laps. TNR Contracting late model street stocks getting it on. Olivier works that top, Jensen on the bottom. It'll be Olivier advantage. Down the back chute into turn number 3 for the final time. Zabel runs third. Here comes Bradley Goff on the inside. As we race for the lead, Dan Jensen took a good look to the inside of Olivier. Olivier leads at the stripe. Bradley Goff looking for third with the 29Z of J.J. Zabel. That gold color reflecting in the light. Zabel running third. Defending track champion looking to his inside off of turn number 4. The momentum too strong for that position as Tim Dan completes the top 5 in the silver and red 40. It's Olivier out front. Last time by was 0.6 of a second. Jensen works to the bottom off of 4. It's Olivier back to the stripe. We'll check the interval. Was 0.6, now 0.5. So Jensen with a slightly better lap than your race leader that time by. With Zabel and Goff running side by side, the leaders starting to pull away quite a bit from 3rd and 4th place. There's a look at the battle for 3rd. Goff on the bottom, Zabel on the top, still advantage Zabel. Just behind them, they're side by side for the position. Give it to the 45 of Craig Hanish. Just comes shooting around the outside of Tim Dan, and he's going to try to get another one going into turn 3. The 45 of Craig Hanish has found that top line, and it is working. The 45, a bunch of sparks from the 2nd place car. Dan Jensen just lost probably the transmission or maybe the rear end. The 2nd place car slow in turn number 3, limping around the bottom of the racetrack. We stay green. No debris spotted out there. We'll see if Jensen pulls it to the infield. He does. We stay green. There's the 45 of Hanish. Just got by the 29Z of J.J. Zabel. So Craig Hanish up to the 2nd spot after starting outside row number 4. That's the good news. He's climbed his way to 2nd. Bad news for Craig Hanish and his fans. He's 2.7 seconds behind Zach Olivier, the race leader. However, there is traffic looming in front of your leader as you watch that race for 3rd. Once again, Bradley Goff works the bottom. J.J. Zabel right rear on the cushion. Zabel continuing to run 3rd in the 29Z. Great race for the 3rd spot. Out front, Olivier is into traffic as the yellow lights come on around the racetrack. Yellow is out. Well, taking a look at the 64 of Corey Yai, who just went past the flag stand, you can see the nose is missing from that car, and it's laying up there in turn 1. The fastest lap for Olivier has been a 15.5. The best lap for Hanisch has been a 15.5. Here's your restart, 11 to go. Hanisch goes to the top. Olivier worked the bottom, and Hanisch has Uncle Mo on his side. Now he switches and goes to the bottom. Can it stick side by side? And yellow's coming out for debris in turn 1. And I think it's more of Corey Yai's front end. So ready for the green once again. Hanisch had a big run through turns 1 and 2 and used the momentum to dive to the inside of Olivier. Now Olivier knows who's behind him and what the game plan is. We'll see if things change on this restart. Looks very similar, but Hanisch with trouble got into the cushion and now is off the pace in the 45. He goes from deep in the field to second and now heading to the pit area. So it's Zach Olivier, group leader, J.J. Zabel in second, Bradley Goff in third, and here comes Tim Dan. He was watching what Craig Hanisch was doing on the top, and now the TDR chassis, number 40, trying to use the top shelf and come forward. He'll get to the outside of Goff, getting into turn number 3. Goff on the bottom, he's working on the 29C of J.J. Zabel, and now he's going to say, oh no, there's somebody else on the outside out there. 3 cars racing for second with John Hoying right behind them in the 55. 3 cars stair-stepping into turn number 3. Tim Dan on the top is making it work, and he has driven to the second spot. J.J. Zabel's going to change lines. He's on the bottom. Bradley Goff says enough of this bottom stuff. Everyone's going by me on the top. He switches lines, and there goes the 83X into the third spot. They come by the line. The 21 of Ron Howe is going to take his car off the track. He's got a flat tire heading to the pit area. All of this going on. The race for second, 1.2 seconds behind your race leader, the 71 of Zach Olivier. Tim Dan getting a push from the 83X of Bradley Goff. Goff saying, I think we can get there, man. Let's go. Goff, crossover, back to the inside of the 40 of Tim Dan. That's the race for second as we come up on lap traffic once again. Slide job for the position behind them. J.J. Zabel just threw a big slider on John Hoying. Oh, the leader's going to get held up. Olivier trying to work the bottom. They got to the 99 of Ryan DeBoer in the top 3. Now nose to tail into the third turn. Zach Olivier watched his lead disappear. Bradley Goff now saying, Tim Dan, I'm going to be the first one to get to Olivier if we can get there. He works the bottom. That's the race for second. Into turn 3 they go. Dan again with the advantage over the defending track champion running in third. Lap starting to wind down. 3 to go in the TNR Contracting Late Model Street Stock Feature Event season opener here at I-90. The lead back out to 0.8 of a second for Zach Olivier. He works the bottom. Tim Dan drove it in deep, slides it up, catches the cushion off turn number 4. As 5th place, John Hoying just went off the pace and pulled off on the back straightaway. Some attrition, but overall, good racing, close racing in this TNR Contracting Late Model Street Stock event. They come to the white flag. Zach Olivier, 2015 champion, wanting to go to victory lane. Did not get there last season. He just pushed up the racetrack. Not enough for Tim Dan to capitalize. The 40 hunting. Goff still trying to come after him. Goff will look to the inside as Olivier gets the win. Dan will finish second. Goff will finish third. Zabel crossing the line in fourth. And 5th going to go to the 5X of Kevin Kremen. Well, some excitement tonight in the TNR Contracting Late Model Street Stocks and some heartbreak to go with it. But this driver is going to go to victory lane. He did not get there last year. But now the 2015 champion returns to the winner's circle here at I-90 Speedway, leading all 18 laps to get the victory here tonight.